Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Literally a guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin to lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name. Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. PSGL back on your screens for a whole different reason, but nevertheless, a brand new season will be getting underway. Season 34, and what a pleasure it is to be back here. And I'm not alone. Of course, my name being George Morgan. Alongside me is the one, the only Jack Canan. Jack, we have reached, it's that time again. The F1 23 game was dropped as of today. For those of you who got the early release, of course, some of you might have to wait a little longer, but nevertheless, a great aura around the community at the moment, Jack. And welcome back, by the way.
I know, guys, I'm in HD. Look at this, I'm in HD.
He's got a new camera, folks. He's got a new camera. Can you believe it?
3 seasons it took. Outrageous, outrageous. But I'm in HD.
I love it.
This is actually what I look like, and this is what colour my room is, if you can see behind. But delighted to be back, of course. Very excited. We always get really excited around this time of year because we're going into a complete unknown, new lineups, new game, totally new blank slate heading into this season. Very excited.
Very exciting indeed, folks. But first of all, before we go into those all-important lineup changes, obviously a public service announcement. Some of you might have seen that GT Omega are once again returning. They are indeed here and re-signed with PSGL as well. As you can see, they are helping us out with our delicious chairs as well. Myself and Jack have got one each. There you can see if you want to check out more as well. You can do so, of course, by heading across. If you fancy upgrading your cockpit, make sure you head across to GT Omega and they will hook you up. And they're staying with us here again for season 34. No doubt, Jack, obviously just a quick chat before we break into it. Obviously, we came off the back of a hellacious challenge between that of Ronhar and Burremand heading towards the tail end of the season. It ended up being decided in the stewards' room. It was a very contentious season last year, season 32-33. Very trepidatious among all the drivers, and I think fans alike that were watching back at home. I get the feeling, though, that we can go one step further this season. I think the competitive levels, already I'm getting vibes from Jarno Opmeer that he thinks that this game is getting back to where it needed to be. It certainly seems that the handling model has ticked a lot of boxes. There's a lot more optimism about this season.
Yeah, and I don't think we had that last season. You know, where there wasn't a lot of positive things coming out of the game last year, but we've heard so much about the handling being really good. A lot of drivers having confidence, a lot more confidence that they didn't have last year. So it's building to be a really great season. We've got drivers coming back onto the grid again that we haven't seen in a good while. Some team changes, big changes, of course, but you know, I think it's going to be probably the most competitive season maybe thus far. I mean, normally most of these championships have been clear two-man sort of fights. I think we could get even into a 4 or 5 driver fight for a title this season.
I 100% agree with you, Jack. I think off the basis, I think nowadays, certainly with the new handling system, I think obviously allowing those drivers to fight, allowing them to come together, I think is going to put more impetus on the drivers themselves to get better. And I suppose it'll be less about, restraining yourself in the face of danger. Obviously, the handling model was a little bit tricky in places. You had lots of things to be wary about. But I think now the drivers can sort of let themselves hang loose, let themselves challenge. I think this is what this series is going to be all about. Certainly this season in PSGL, no less, not to mention F1 Esports is just around the corner. And obviously there's been a lot of movements as well, Jack. Obviously we saw a few movements on the tail end of last season, but some obvious moves. We saw, of course, the Barry Burremand and also the Nicolas Longuet partnership coming into fruition towards the end of last season, and how well that worked for Ferrari heading towards the final, which of course led to Burremand taking the PSGL title. But a few more talking points around, lots of movers and shakers. Alfa Romeo Sauber, I suppose we should call them now, Sauber Esports, that have now adopted the, of course we'll get into that later on, but certainly we saw the post earlier on in the week that they have now confirmed their lineup, their roster. it's an exciting time to be a driver in this certainly this season.
It is, yeah. I mean, Alfa Romeo was the clear one that was an unknown. We've got Haas now as well. We haven't heard what their driver lineup is going to be, but I always say it every year. The driver lineup you see in PSGL, just keep your eye on it, because it might actually be your lineup. I always go back to Barry Bormand vehemently refusing that he was part of McLaren back when he changed into
we knew the
McLaren,
truth.
and we knew the truth. A week later, what does he do? He signs up McLaren. So
Yeah.
this is the stuff. So just obviously, and nothing is confirmed, but just keep that in mind as well, because we don't tend to be too far wrong here at PSGL. So, but you'll see, obviously, the changes in lineups around the board. We've got reserves coming in as well, because that's a big part of what we do here. Is we get the new guys get to fight with the top guys as well. But I mean, we've all seen the lineups already. We're as excited as you are, and I mean, we just can't wait to get going tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly some spicy returns, folks, and we're going to bring you those very, very shortly. Of course, please let us know. And I hope you're all enjoying yourselves as well and, enjoying the coverage. Of course, we've got plenty more to bring you. And, Jack, it's not just about tonight because, of course, next week we've got the very first social race on the F123 game with PSGL. Should I say we've got one coming up this week? I should probably say on Wednesday, tomorrow night that's coming. Of course, we've got more social races throughout the next couple of weeks. But PCF1 is coming back sooner rather than later. It's going to be with us in only a matter of a week and 1 day's time. So please keep yourselves on notice, folks. You don't want to miss it. Season 34 getting off with a bang. Tomorrow we go racing for the first time on the F123 game. You don't want to miss it. But first of all, folks, of course, let us know. Are you ready for the driver lineups? We'll take a look now shortly after this commercial break. Right, welcome back, folks. And obviously now looking ahead, we can take you through the roster of the drivers. The big question is, though, first of all, are you guys ready? I want to see if you're ready in the live chat. Let us know. I want to see plenty of W's or plenty of yes, we're ready. Let us know in the live chat right now, folks. Until I see a response, I will not be hitting the buttons. I will not show you what it is. We're seeing it now. Dubs from Richie. Hyper Illusions dub. David saying start. We've got Pablos, Cameron's dad. You're all ready. Give it 5 minutes. I'm not giving it 5 minutes. The chat don't want to give it 5 minutes. Jack, are you ready?
No.
You're not. Can we just pack up? We'll just end the stream
yeah,
there. No, that would be too much baiting, Jack Kidad. First of all, folks, if you haven't done so already, if you can't tune into this, don't forget as well, and you're watching it elsewhere and you have to dash off, don't worry, the lineups will be posted on Twitter as we go through them. We've got the social team on hand to do that for you at Premier Sim GL. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. First driver reveal, let's head across now. And it's none other than AlphaTauri. Tom Manley, of course, making his way into the team. 2 points finishes last season in round 1 and 2 in PSGL in season 33. Winner of the F1 Esports Challenges on the Xbox platform in 2022 with 9 wins and 9 poles in 12 races. And now he's part of the Red Bull Racing Esports setup. He's going to be lining up across. Now, this might be controversial. Jake Benham, the All-Star, of course, a member of the Mercedes team, now makes his way into AlphaTauri. Debuted in the F1 Esports Pro Championship in 2022, taking 2 P10 points finishes at Mexico and Brazil in the final 6 races of the series. Finished 4th in the PSGL PCF1 Season 33 Championship, taking 2 podiums in the 11 races of that season. His best result being a P2 behind eventual champion Barry Burmand at Australia in round 1. What a spicy lineup, Jack.
Yeah, I can already see that start the conversation in the chat around AlphaTauri for Jake Benham. But I think as well, this might be one to just keep your eyes on. But also, it's probably, again, Jake's chance to even get some run time in PSGL, of course. I believe, we will go through the reserves later on, but Joni Tormala is a reserve for AlphaTauri this year. So Jake obviously was able to take that full-time seat here. But yeah, definitely starting some conversations already. But Jake Benham and Tom Manley, a young team, but a very, very experienced one. You've got Jake with a year's experience behind him in F1 Esports. You've got Tom Manley now, who's off the back of the Challengers win, is looking for that seat in F1 Esports, and a perfect opportunity really for the young guys to team up and see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely, and a huge opportunity here for Tom Manley. Of course, we've heard a lot about him, and he's really starting to push onwards and upwards. Jake Benham, I can already hear the live chat talking about swap deals as well in the Merc camp, but no, just the mere fact that they've got so many drivers, obviously they do need to move them around, and obviously Benham is going to have his chance there nonetheless to certainly build on what has already been an extraordinary run for himself as he looks towards yet another championship. Let's move onwards and upwards because, of course, we've got more to show you, folks. Aston Martin are lining up with a familiar three. Of course, though, Fabrizio Donoso, Simon Weigand together with John Evans making up that squad. Of course, let's talk about Fabrizio Donoso, journeyman, who is one of the F1 Esports veterans, taking part since 2017 and was runner-up in the championship behind the winner of that title that season. And, of course, beating Brendan Lee, who would go on to take the final race win at Abu Dhabi. Of course, 3 top 10s in 7 starts for Ferrari last season. Only 1 top 10 in 4 starts in PSGL in season 33, however, and hasn't won in PSGL since Austria in season 29 after the controversial moment at Remus between the two Mercedes drivers at the time, Jarno Opmeer and Danny Moretto. And we remember that race well, Jack.
Yes, we do, and we tend to go back to that race all the time because it's with Austria. It seems to be the driver that's in third always seems to win on the final lap. So let's see if that happens. But as you can see, Donoso going to be taking one car for the whole season. Simon Weigand and John Evans will be rotating at that second car. So very strong team, super experienced now. John Evans with a season of F1 Esports behind him. Donoso, he's been there from the very beginning, and Simon Weigand super experienced as well. So definitely, if they can get the consistency back, they'll be definitely ones to watch there. But Donoso was starting to find his stride again towards the end of the F1 22 season, so F1 23 definitely ones to keep your eyes on. And you know, Weigand and Evans never ruled them out. So Aston Martin again didn't have a good run in the constructors last time, but looking to change that next season.
Absolutely, from one veteran to another. Simon Weigand steps in once again, finishing P13 in last season's F1 Esports Pro Championship for Aston Martin with 4 top 10 results, and certainly goes to show that he has still got some of that pace as well, all secured within the first 5 races of the season. He had an almightily strong start. His last race in PSGL was at Japan in season 31, where he would pick up 1 solitary point. Hasn't been seen a lot, Jack, but a great chance for him this season should he get back to his best.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope that we can see Simon out on the track a little bit more this season, because when he does get out on track, he does perform strongly. So let's see in due course. But if you've got again the powerhouse now of Donoso and Weigand, all the experience behind them, John Evans as well. When he on his day, he is super quick as well. So we'll see in due course how Aston Martin can perform, but it can only, I think, go up from last season. Second to last in the constructors, a bit more consistency, and I think they should be up there.
Yeah, Simon Weigand hoping for another strong start like he did last season in F1 Esports. John Evans is another one who probably needs one too. Made 7 starts in his debut season in F1 Esports in 2022 for Aston Martin, finishing the campaign only above teammate last season Manuel Biancalila. Last PSGL appearances were in season 33, the last one being a DNF at Abu Dhabi. Even, I would suppose he would admit, even himself, Jack, that he didn't have the best of runs last season, and definitely knows that he's capable of more. Perhaps took his foot off the gas a little bit.
Possibly, yeah, but again, that could have been just completely checking out in focus for this next game. You know, if towards the end of the game cycle, if the game doesn't suit you, you're not really going to put in the time and effort. So this could be now a turning point for John Evans. If he finds his stride early on in this game, I think, you know, you're going to see possibly a different John Evans out on track. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Aston Martin looking for a better run of consistent points this season. Definitely, Donoso got close to wins last time, so maybe he can finally, after that, of course, controversial moment two games ago now, we'll see if he can get himself back on the top step.
Absolutely. Well, let's move onwards and upwards. Another team that have familiar faces is Williams, of course. Shanaka Clay and Alvaro Caratono. Let's start with Shanaka Clay, of course, making his F1 Esports debut back in 2021 with one appearance that season at Imola. Built on this with a points finish at Kota as well. His only top 10 in 7 starts. His best PSGL form came in season 30, finishing 6th in the championship ahead of teammate Alvaro Caraton, scoring 1 win, 3 podiums and 6 points finishes that season. And his win coming in round 2 at Silverstone ahead of Wilson Hughes as well. Alvaro Caraton, a dedicated servant for Williams alongside Freddie Rasmussen, the only drivers to remain at the same team since 2018, suffered his weakest season to date in F1 Esports with only 2 top 10s in 9 starts last season. Was more successful in PSGL last season with a P2 at Brazil and finishing P11 in the championship. His last PSGL win coming all the way back in season 27, the first season of the PC Championship, and that was at Brazil, the final race of the season. What do you make of these two, Jack?
Experience, lots of experience, and well, Alvaro is just constantly up there. Every season, he has taken really good results early on, but it's never got quite through to the end. Shanaka as well. We've never seen enough of Shanaka throughout the season really to sort of gauge how he is compared to him. But again, maybe this game could suit him better in this regard. Alvaro was super strong last season as well, but wasn't consistent. So again, we would expect a lot from Alvaro once again, as took that win all the way back in Brazil. I remember with a final lap move on, I believe it was Nicolas Longue off the top of my head, and that gave Jarno Opmeer the title back then as well. So yes, plenty of experience, plenty of pace, and well, you can't get you can't get too complacent about this, but consistency is going to be key for Williams again. They were third bottom from the constructors last season, so just consistency is going to be key. And I keep bringing home that point because this championship is just so close. You have to be scoring points every week to have a chance.
Yeah, you certainly do, and this is a team next up that we're hoping, I'm sure we'll see them score points to say the least. Sauber Esports, or Alfa Romeo as we know them by. They won't be in the near future though, obviously, with 2026 not far away. Brendan Lee, of course, a legend of the F1 Esports world, taking 2 world championships to his name, equaling the likes of Jarno Opmeer. He was the first to do it, of course, back in 2017 and 2018. And then, of course, going ahead, looking to try and recapture his crown. He's going to be joined by last season's one of the contenders from last season, Thomas Ronhaar, who was runner-up, of course, in PSGL last season after that final controversial battle between him and that of Barry Burremand. Of course, going back to Brendan Lee, was showing some real sincere promise in prior seasons of PSGL. Remember season 31, where he finished P4 in the championship, securing 3 podiums and 6 points finishes, his best result being the P2 in the last race of that season at Italy. Thomas Ronhaar, of course, himself, a very impressive debut in F1 Esports as well, Jack, and he's certainly looking to try and deliver and build on what was a successful run last season.
Yeah, I don't think this is surprising. Well, for some it might be surprising, but for us it wasn't a surprise to see Alpha, totally change up the lineup here. You're bringing in Brendan Lee, who is a 2-time champion. You've got Thomas Ronhaar, who was so close to the PSGL title last season, was incredibly good in F1 Esports as well. So you're bringing the experience of Brendan Lee and now the building experience of Thomas Ronhaar together. This is going to be definitely ones to watch for this season. And Brendan, of course, looking for, again, a return to the top again. Didn't quite get it last season, but I mean, this combination I think could be super dangerous.
I think so too. Another team that could well be dangerous are this pairing. Red Bull announcing the Great Dane, Freddie Rasmussen, alongside that of Josh Edo, the Welshman, who certainly looked in absolutely splendid form on his debut season in F1 Esports 2 seasons ago. Came back and followed it up brilliantly next season too. Freddie Rasmussen, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, has been in the top 3 in the championship, has been in the top 3 of F1 Esports every season since 2018, where he joined Red Bull, of course, has finished in P2 in the championship every season since 2019 as well. When's he going to win one? Maybe this year's his chance. Josh Ido as well is another one to look for. Obviously, last season taking a sensational pole position in Abu Dhabi. I won't tell you who actually predicted it during the show. Yes, it was me. But looking to come back yet again to build on what was a successful run last season. Has taken the step up now. He's in a Red Bull, not an AlphaTauri, Jack Canan.
Yes, absolutely. Now, of course, we know that this, again, has not been officially announced in inverted commas, but I don't think this was a surprise because, again, Josh performed immensely in there in F1 Esports as well. Shows he has got pace, refound it, I think, as well. It wasn't settling with him in the early phase of the game, but again, always comes back. So Josh Ido and Freddie Rasmussen. I mean, what can you say about Freddie Rasmussen? I mean, he's been so close so many times. Is quick on anything that you could put him on, but has never managed to clinch a title here at PSGL. He's taken wins before, of course, and was the man who was challenging Jarno Wotmir back in the first season. But again, powerhouse lineup, I think, at Red Bull. So again, this is going to be ones to watch.
Yeah, Freddie Rasmussen, winner of 2 races at both Silverstone and the finale at Abu Dhabi last season. Josh Ido, of course, claiming some really impressive results. 8 starts, scoring points in 6 races with 4 podiums to boot as well. What an impressive rise from Josh Ido. And the next team we're going to take a look at are going to be looking to do exactly the same as well. But we've got some new faces. Ruben Pedreño joins Alpine this time. Has taken 1 top 10 points finish in season 33. And a new statement signing, obviously, for that of Alpine. He's going to be alongside Patrick Schipos, P2 and PSGL at Kota in season 32 and 33, not to mention 2 points finishes in total, with a debut season of F1 Esports last season delivering 2 points finishes in 11 starts. A team for the future, I sense, Jack Canan.
Yeah, and I think we got that sense towards the end of last season. They found pace, and they're a really young team. Patrick Schipos, of course, I think is now the team leader. Ruben Pedreño just drafted in, and you have Luke Smith as well in there as well. These guys are quick and are definitely building for the future. Patrick Schipos, he's taken wins before, he's taken pole positions before. I mean, he took that sensational pole lap in Brazil towards the end of last season. That was a pole lap that was quicker than F1 Esports as well. So he has got pace, just lost out on the final lap. And Ruben Pedreño as well, bringing in that fresh experience coming in as well. This will be probably his first season in F1 Esports if he does get the chance to drive in there. And alongside the experience now, Patrick Schipos into what I think is his 3rd season or 2nd season of F1 Esports. So he's bringing that experience, he's bringing that pace, and Alpine are building for the future, as you said.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we'll look ahead to see whether they can storm up some impressive results. Might be tough for them, though. We'll have to find out. But we've got Ferrari next as well. Let's take a look at them, and what a formidable pairing it is. We saw them last season. It's Nicolas Longue, everybody, and Barry Burman, last season's PSGL champion, and did it in great style as well. It was a fraught contest between him and Thomas Ronha, but coming back and certainly challenging. He has been the runner-up on so many occasions in league racing to the likes of Jarno Wotmir, but has come back against the likes of Blakely and Wotmir in the past, has taken on Thomas Ronha and taking the championship as well. So he will be our current champion coming into the new season as well. And it's very important, isn't it, Jack, for them to build on this. Ferrari looking pacey. I like this lineup, a formidable lineup. Nicolas Longue, plenty of experience. Remember, he started out at Red Bull all those years ago, since dipped into Alfa Romeo, now finds himself at Ferrari. Statement signing, or pair of signings by the prancing horses.
Yeah, I think what's particularly good about this lineup is that Barry and Nicolas are very, very good friends. They work incredibly well with each other, and we saw that even on the first race that we saw them together as teammates. They were working with each other. They work really, really well together. So the team chemistry there will be definitely one to watch. They're both super, super quick. Barry is the reigning champion of PSGL, but you know his focus is going to be to get that F1 Esports title, as will Nicolas Longue as well. So these two, yeah, they're a super strong lineup, and they just need to keep consistency, of course, because I think both these guys are going to be, I would imagine, up towards the front end. So will that team chemistry last throughout a championship fight? Let's wait and see.
Yeah, and still Ferrari yet to win another driver's title in F1 esports since David Tanitsa did it back in 2019 as well. Can they recoup that same form? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously now, next up, we bring on the Haas team, and nonetheless, it's a step up for Alfie Butcher, a sensation in challenges, and did it impeccably well as well. One of the more consistent players alongside the likes of Harvey Cowan as well. Alfie Butcher now stepping up to the top tier of PSGL as a full-time driver for Haas. Alongside him, it's Danny Berejnay, who was announced this season as a driver for Mercedes. He's back at the Silver Arrows once again. Of course, you might remember years ago where he partnered up Brendan Lee. And of course, he is a former winner as well in the F1 Esports Series. Has taken 5 victories in his seasons as a driver, 6 pole positions in that time as well, and is now looking to try and bring his best form back to PSGL. This could be an underrated lineup here, Jack.
I think so, and I think that this could be the surprise package, I would say. But yeah, Danny Berejnay, of course, fresher in signed to Mercedes, but we'll get the chance to drive at Haas. Alfie Butcher off the back of F1 Challengers on PC. I mean, super good performance the whole way through the season. Now has a chance to show what he can do against the F1 Esports guys as well. But I reckon this could be the surprise lineup here at Haas, when you've got the fresh face Alfie Butcher, the experience of Danny Berejnay. I mean, it's a good recipe. I like this one.
Yeah, it's a very good recipe. I very much like Alfie Butcher. I think he's a talent. He's one to watch. People have been talking about him now for a good couple of years, and he has grown and become such a stalwart and has certainly managed to cultivate many a great performance. We'll look upon him with great interest as we move into another season. Next up, we've got 2 teams left. It's McLaren, and Wilson Hughes is back in the team as well. Unfortunately, did not get an appearance at F1 Esports last season, but that's only because his teammate, Lucas Blakely, and that of Barry Burman last season were both in contention for the title. But nevertheless, do not count him out. He was brilliant in PSGL last season. Obviously, that was his opportunity to shine. He's once again got a full-time seat. Once again, this time alongside that of Lucas Blakely, a former PSGL champion, of course, prior to that of Barry Burman taking the title. But he also went ahead and took his very first F1 Esports Pro Championship title, where he secured it, of course, when we went racing at Abu Dhabi at the end of last season. And again, a formidable pairing and a proven winner, and a proven pair of winners, because Wilson Hughes has won a PSGL title of his own as well, Jack.
Yeah, back on PS4, of course. Took that championship a couple of seasons ago. But yes, Lucas Blakely is back on the grid once again. And I think it's a good point to mention, folks, that each PSGL season that we've had so far on PC, the champion of the first championship on the new game went on to win the F1 Esports Championship each time. Jarno Watmir did it, and Lucas Blakely has done it as well. So keep that in mind as well. Lucas Blakely, of course, took the championship 2 games ago, and now he's back on the grid full time. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Wilson Hughes, again, performed consistently and solidly last season in PSGL. So this will be a good lineup, the 2 Scotsmen. Let's see how they get on.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, like you said, a litmus test for F1 Esports here at PSGL. Wilson Hughes, of course, putting in a lot of work behind the scenes as well, alongside that of his teammates, that, of course, being Barry Burman and Lucas Blakely last season to help secure those titles. Now, let's look ahead to one final team. And 3 guesses to who that might be. It certainly is the Silver Arrows. Jarno Watmir lining up alongside Marcel Kiefer. Jarno Watmir, a multi-time PSGL champion, not to mention a 2-time F1 Esports champion as well. If there's one driver you want in your team, it's the Flying Dutchman. And he brought in some stellar displays despite not being in the title fight. Should we say, in the final race of last season, he did his absolute utmost, gave everything, and we saw arguably one of the greatest races of all time in PSGL and in F1 Esports, and both of them, coincidentally, Jack Kinnan, at COTA.
Yeah, whatever it is about COTA and Jarno Watmir, it really goes well together. 15th to the win last season out of absolutely nowhere, and again, Jarno Watmir alongside a new team for Marcel Kiefer. This is the first time in a long time we have not seen Marcel Kiefer in Red Bull colours, and alongside Jarno Watmir. I mean, how much experience do you want in a team? This is one to keep your eyes on. They'll be going for the Constructors' Championship once again. But the 2 of them together, let's see how Marcel gets on. Of course, didn't have a good season last season, but we'll be looking to change that alongside alongside the two-time F1 Esports champion, again, so many PSGL titles behind him as well, Jarno Wotmir. So, a perfect environment for Marcel to get back on track, and a super exciting lineup. And as we've seen from the release, Jarno's feeling good about this game. He's liking the handling, so could we see a return back up to the top step again, with a consistent return to the top step for Jarno Wotmir, and possibly from Marcel Kiefer?
Well, there's so many questions to ask. Marcel Kiefer not generally having the best of times last season at Red Bull, of course that being his final season. But I hark back as well, Jack. Remember that race at Brazil? Jarno with his final title, his first though for Mercedes at that point, of course that being in 2021. And it was Kiefer who was trying to block him off to gift Rasmussen the title. It went right down to the wire. How do you think that dynamic's going to work between these two?
Well, I think there is going to be a good team dynamic, because Marcel Kiefer is a fantastic team player. That's what we saw at Red Bull. So I think that will transfer over easily to Mercedes. So we'll see. But maybe, we don't know yet because the game's such an unknown. It could be Jarno having to back off to allow Marcel to go in front. We'll wait and see. We don't know how this is going to run, but this is a super exciting season. Those are the lineups, and I mean, this is just super exciting. We are going to have Jarno, Lucas, we've got Marcel, we've got Thomas Ronnar, we've got Brendan Lee. We've got all of the F1 Esports champions except one on the grid this season, which is amazing.
Yeah, two icons as well in terms of the content creation world as well, folks. So it'll be absolutely thrilling to see how they get on. Of course, Jarno bidding to become the first driver to take a return championship. We haven't yet had a driver lose the title and return to win it in F1 Esports. Will he also come back and return and take the PSGL crown as well? We'll have to wait and see. And of course, a lot of questions on the table, but it's going to be a very thrilling year, to say the least. But as excited as I'm sure you are all at home, folks, we're just as excited as you. We're going to be looking ahead as well with great interest at tomorrow night's social race. Be sure to be there, folks. It's going to be announced, of course, well, it already has been announced on social media. We will be bringing you all the action. The lineups will look a little different for the social, of course, when we get going tomorrow. But it's just a great opportunity for you guys to catch out some of the drivers that will be taking part in the PCF1 Championship out on circuit tomorrow night, and without a doubt it's going to be a thriller. And we are going to be racing, as we always do, at Spain as well in the pre-season race, and there will be more leading up as well for all the other tiers, not to mention other platforms as well on the table. And of course we look ahead to next week, where we go racing for the very first time for round one of the championship as well, and the calendar, I'm sure, will be broadcast around to you very soon as well. But Jack, what are you feeling? Do you feel a lot of excitement? I suppose I'm feeling excited. I've got to say, I think we're generally in, or genuinely in, for one of the most competitive championship charges I think we've ever seen in F1 Esports.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the social race is going to be great because, again, we get to look at the new Spain without the chicane at the end. So let's see how league racing will work there. So looking forward to that. But I think you're right. I mean, the PSL championships are always close, but I think this one is going to be particularly close. I think we're going to have more than two people fighting for the championship in the final race. That's my prediction towards the end. Let's see if it's come true. The game isn't even technically out yet, but that's my prediction. We're going to have more than two fighting for a championship at the end, and we're going to have plenty of surprise wins, plenty of surprise pole positions, and I'm so excited for it, and I hope everyone else is too.
Yeah, let us know, folks, in the live chat. Are you excited? Are you excited in the live chat? Come on, I want to see that chat window spammed. Come on, let's get it spammed right up, folks. Let us know. Are you buzzing for tomorrow night? I just dropped my pen. I'm so excited I dropped my pen on the floor. Yeah, let us know. Are you excited? Rene Zanini, I see that you're excited. Big C's excited. Of course he's excited. He loves it every year. Jess Games is excited. Logan's excited. Wildy's excited. Puzzle Dan is as well. Mirko Siriano, big hello to you as well, mate. Hope you're keeping well. Richie as well. Guys, we're all excited. We're looking forward to it. Don't miss it tomorrow night, folks. It's been a pleasure bringing you all this coverage. Remember, you can watch back as well. If you've missed anything, make sure you check out PSGL on the socials, on Twitter at PremierSimGL, also on Instagram as well. You can find them on there as well. Stay up to date with everything PSGL related. Get the latest news about tomorrow's social race and also the championships as a whole. And you can stay tuned in and obviously know when we go live as well. So don't miss it. We'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Remember, my name's been George Morgan. You can catch me on Twitter at GeorgeMorganTV. Jack, do you want to share your social if you please?
Yeah, absolutely. You can catch me on Twitter at JackCComs, the 2 C's, folks. I say it every season. Don't forget the 2 C's. You won't find me. And on Instagram, you can find me at Jack_Canal if you fancy doing that for yourself.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow night live at 7 o'clock, folks. Do not miss it. Of course, powered by our friends at GT Omega. I hope you all have a stellar evening. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Oh, here he's through on the left-hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the ghost is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.